Tay Marker, Euphoria Season 2 review, guys. Let's get right to it. Season 2, Episode 8. Let's go. Action. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? I'm Ryan D. Akelon, Ryan680.
Manjot, that Kaladianj.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk for movie fans, guys. You bring the movie world right into your ears, devices. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Let's get right to it, ladies and gentlemen, moviegoers out there. You know, it's crazy because there's certain TV shows that we really do, and this has obviously been one of them in our past videos and everything, and it's been really an experience doing this. It really has, as far as watching this series, man. Coming from, like, this season 1 came from so long ago. This season has really changed and twisted these characters a lot. We've seen a lot of character development this season with Euphoria, and by all means, guys, I mean, obviously by the title here, it's Euphoria Season 2, Episode 8, the season finale, guys. And the season finale title, My Heart Has Yearned for a Thing I Cannot Name. Hey, that is a real... You know, it's crazy because we see so many different, like, the different titles, like the last title of the theater and its doubles. Like, it just... There's so significance. That's what I love about Sam Levinson, the creator and writer, that he has so much significance here when he makes the titles, from the titles of these episodes to where the certain small little details really shape up these characters. And so, what was the thing that stuck out to you this season, man? I mean, the play, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically like, I know the play is supposed to be based on the cast, you know, Rue and Lexi and what she's going on, and her sister and everything.
Kat, all of them,
Kat, all of them, but. For me, like, that was like the pinnacle climax of this season, because it just throws everything. So we know already a lot about so many of these characters. Yeah. But in this play, it unfolds so much more. Yeah. Not just about Rue, but about Lexi too. Like, I feel like Lexi's a character we haven't really, you know, developed or you know, heard a lot of her backstory. And I really enjoyed the scenes, how it not only just shows the story, but it kind of goes back and forth of, like, between the stage characters and then their flashbacks of their memories. That was really, really done beautifully. And and of course I have to mention Ethan's dance scene. That was great.
Oh man, Ethan,
great.
Dude, Ethan so really great. You know, he really shaped up this whole because at first whenever he broke up with Kat, I was all like, oh man, we're not gonna see him ever. Like,
I know, it was sad because I liked his character. He was a nice person.
Sam Levinson went ahead and just, like, wrote him another character, and he played in a play. And it just worked out beautifully. Like,
and it's so funny because it's, like, such random, like, because he plays Cassie and Lexi's mom, and he also plays Nate. So it's just so funny to see his take on this. Funny, It was such a great scene. Love it. But I think for me, I really enjoyed the play, and the play spanning over, like, the 2 episodes really was the highlight of this season for me.
Yeah, you know the way this setup was last episode. You know, the theater and its doubles was really a setup. Obviously, it showed us this is the situation that's gonna happen, and in the next episode of the season finale, which we got, that's how it's gonna unfold, and and we didn't know what to expect. Really, we didn't know what to expect at all. And you know, it's one of those things to where, you know, we come in and we find, you know, Ash and Fezco, we see them and we see how they develop, and it's so terrible. A lot of people are just like, no, Fezco, don't write out Fezco. And then we come to find out, I mean, this is a spoilers review, so come to find out it ends up being Ash. And it's like, fuck, dude, that guy with, like, that kid, not even a guy, that kid is, dude, he is hardcore, man. He is hardcore.
Which is funny because I was reading an article before while we were watching it about how Sam Levinson and them rewrote it. So literally maybe a day or 2 before filming, he rewrote, like, for that scene, for Fezco or for Ashtray to be in the bathtub and doing that.
Instead of Fez?
I don't know if instead of Fez, but he rewrote the scene. That's cool. Yeah. And so it's really crazy how that's shocking.
And it's really insane how much social media, Twitter and all that, like, how, because I've been seeing everyone's reaction to it. It's so crazy how everyone loves Fezco in this season.
It's not only just Fezco, but it's the team, Fezco and Ashtray. I know they're not quote unquote biological brothers, but they're brothers. Like, they depend on each other. They're just so bonded, and they would do anything for each other, even though you know, Fezco told Ashtray, like, I'll take the fall for it. You have a chance to get out of it. Ashtray did not go down. He did not go down.
He didn't. it sucks because, you know, we got to see that emotional grasp, and it's so terrible seeing someone, someone that you care about so much get, you know, obviously in this case is getting gunned down. I mean, it's just one of those situations to where he knew what he was doing. In reality, that's what he did. He knew it exactly. He knew he wasn't going to go out.
I know he's a kid.
Yeah.
But my gosh, that was a mature and hardened kid. So you're right. He knew what he was doing. So I know it's funny because I read also another article summing up an interview with the actor who played Ashtray, and he kind of like teased it like, wouldn't it be something if Ashtray survives somehow, like, you know, if anybody is gonna survive being gunned down, it is this hardcore kid. And I know it's super unrealistic. He's presumably dead, but there's some glimmer of hope. Like you're right. If there's anybody in this whole entire series that could survive that, it would be this kid. That's how much we love him. That is how much we love him. The internet's grasping for him to survive.
Maybe in another universe. But we saw Lexi and Fesco really shaped their conversation. We saw more of that detailed conversation in there, and I love that because we see a different side of this human being right here. We see Fesco really have loving, caring, and he's just instead of season 1, we just thought he was just like a drug dealer, and we thought, you know, not the worst of him, but we just didn't think he had this human, I mean, I don't say human element, but like this caring element, this like kindness.
You don't typically think
that's not your first
right. You don't typically think of drug dealers or people who like to deal with guns and all that stuff, like living this kind of lifestyle, doing this kind of lifestyle. Kind of like he's almost like he's in high school again. He has his crush. He likes her. Yeah. He's trying to be. He's really nice to her. He's a really good person, just in general.
Very good development.
So it's so different than what we've seen in the first season, and I really liked it. I really liked the relationship, how it kind of evolved, and they were just talking, getting to know each other.
And then also we see Cassie really she has an outburst, how do you call it, like a mental breakdown.
So we could see obviously the end of the episode 7, I believe, where Nate breaks up with her. She goes back to the auditorium and she has crazy eyes in the window, right? Yeah. And it kind of returns to that for this last season finale, and you could tell crazy eyes in the window.
She is so believable.
She is so something's gonna happen, and it does.
That was great acting from her, man. I mean, it really was. Like she was great. She was just brilliant. Her and Maddie too. I mean, it felt so real. Like that whole outburst scene in the auditorium just felt so real, so just human, and it just felt like I remember something almost comparison to that in high school. Like we will always have something to compare to, at least to a certain degree, whether it's any of these experiences here. Hopefully it's not the two terrible ones, but in that case, you know, it just hopefully came out good in it. And it's like you really follow this journey, because we keep forgetting that ever since season 1, Rue's been the main character, and we see all these other characters come in, and you start caring about these other characters. But Sam Levinson kind of directed it more in this episode, like this is Rue's story in a way, and this is her leading it, because she led it when the very first episode of season 1. And I just feel like with all these characters and everything, you just fall so much in love with them. You care about them. You care about Cassie. You care about Maddie's relationship, because it's like, what are they? Obviously, they're not friends anymore, right? I mean, it's so terrible, because we saw how much they were so close to each other. And to be honest, come on, let's be honest, they needed each other. They really did. Maddie needed Cassie. Cassie needed Maddie, and Kate and all them. Like they Kat and all them. They all need each other. And
I mean, to be fair, we all, I feel, at some point have seen friend drama go down, something like this, where someone does something bad in the group and it's like divided, and it's sad to see friends come apart like that. So, but to be done on stage in the middle of her sister's play, so having this meltdown was just great acting. Again, it was shocking. And it's funny because
Lexi out to you, and I was like, oh.
And I think what's even more comical about this whole scene is like the audience looking into this play is so out there and so entertaining. The audience is so confused that they don't even know if it's part of the play or not. And
like, that's what makes it was definitely an outburst that I don't think anyone was ready for. And I kind of feel like the inside people, which was Jules and all of Jules and Rue were the only ones that really knew, like, oh man, that's not part of the play and all that. But so moving on to, like, Nate turns on his dad. So in that sequence, we actually see Nate kind of giving off like I mean, to be honest, I didn't know if he was gonna kill his dad or not. That was kind of his implying and everything, loading the gun and everything, driving with alcohol. Pretty much all the things not to do, right?
He's definitely in like a very unknown state. Unpredictable maybe, because you know, Nate's really surprised us this season with a lot of, you know, his character is kind of evolving into something that we just don't know for sure. Like he's obviously gone through a lot of trauma with his dad and his dad coming out like that and essentially leaving his family in that manner that he did. You know, and it kind of dates back, and he explains it in his monologue to his dad about catching him with these videos at such a young age, and then having these dreams. And so he's kind of in a manic state right now. And it's, I agree with you. It's the way it's shot. You just really don't know what's going to happen. On his way there to confront his dad, when he meets his dad,
it's like, very unpredictable, and I love that. That's the whole reason why I like Sam Levinson, how he really writes these characters to where like we can't guess what the outcome is for the next episode. We can't guess. It's so this show's been so unpredictable. It's like it's you, when you think it's going one way, it gets twisted and it actually goes another way. And I love that, because I just love how they really do that. The creative team behind that, I love that so much. And then we really focus. So let me go ahead and like mention Rue's facial expressions. Zendaya's facial expressions are pure gold. Oh my god, like she is so great. I love her facial expressions so much. I love it so much to where like you know, when she's like just it's like us. I know you mentioned it off camera, but like it's like us reacting.
So like I feel like Rue, going back to the play scene, Rue's expression as an audience member is like how our expressions are watching the show. Like it's exactly mirroring that, and it's so hilarious. And Zendaya does such a good job at that.
She really does. I mean, I just felt so like in tune with that, with her, the way she was reacting. I love that, and also we get a little sense of that with the once again with the creator and everything. It's like you get this, and Zendaya even says it, because she's the executive producer of this show. She even says at the behind the scenes that, you know, seeing herself for the very first time was on screen or on the play was probably the best time she ever had. That was beautiful. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like that's good writing. That's good storytelling. I love that, because it made all sense. You know, every single scene was made sequenced for this show, and it just wasn't like, oh, let's just throw that in there in that context whatsoever. But I mean, we see Zendaya really explain, like Rue's just, she's really just trying to be a good person. And it's crazy because even right before that, or during the play, really, we see Elliot. And actually, we didn't know this either until behind the scenes, guys. That Elliot song that he sang was actually written by Labyrinth and Zendaya. That was crazy. Man,
it's funny to hear them, because, you know, we saw a little behind the scenes after the episode. They talk about that scene and writing that song and how they're just bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful look. I feel like them creating the song together was beautiful, because I mean it was a great song. My gosh, the actor who plays Elliot, great set of pipes. He's singing beautifully.
He's singing really good.
And I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It's all about like the next step for Rue. Like she's going through this sobriety, she's making amends, and you know, it's kind of like they're okay now, because before, when
I hope so,
they had that intervention, it was very turmoil, but it's kind of like gives you hope that you know, there's good coming.
And we see this a lot, that Elliot and Rue, they have separate paths in the end. It's like they do, because Elliot's still using and Rue's not. And I love how they explain that, because Rue's she really explains like, I was sober for the rest of the school year. And then, you know, there's a good quote in there that she mentioned too, that Rue did, you know, from Ali, and it was like, the thought of being a good person is what is a key us. Wait, oh my gosh,
it keeps us from being a good person.
Oh my gosh, wait, what was it?
It's essentially like the thought of being a good person is what's keeping us from being a good person.
Let me see. The thought of being a good person is what is keeping us from being a good person. So it's really beautiful. I love that. It's a great motto. It really is, because it's just like, and Sam Levinson even says it so much, like he mentions it a lot, that, you know, he personally, knowing that now that he really says it and admits it, like he personally was an addict, and now it started out, and he didn't see the light of day. And in knowing what he was going through, he pretty much envisioned everything for Zendaya to play for Rue's character and everything. And it really shares that whole element of like, we're all human beings. We all go through these human emotions that are just so complex, and they're so it's just so it's just so scarring, at least to where like it's all emotional feelings here, and we all have our own stories to tell and our own journeys. And I love that about the Euphoria, because it showed everyone's stories in here,
and everyone's story is different. And that's the thing. I know it was kind of brought up briefly when Cassie was having her tirade on the stage, where she said like, oh, boo-hoo, Lexi's life is so tough. But we do see it is. She has moments like all of us where we go through grief and loss and struggles, and it's different than a lot of people do, but it's still her what she's going through, her struggles. And I really like that this show overall showed different people's struggles. Like, not everyone's the same. Even people who go through similar situations like grief and loss. Rue lost her dad. Lexi lost her dad. So
they have that connection to each other.
They had that connection.
It's a shared tragedy that they could share with each other. And it's sad to say that, but it's like no one will really understand unless you really go through it. And they share that emotional, and they have, that's what really carries their friendship, I feel like. But definitely. And
I really liked also at the end of this, Lexi and Rue are getting back to the good friends they used to be before Rue did the drugs in the first place, season 1, because Lexi really did care about her. We saw her in various stages of her, what Rue was going through, trying not to get her to do drugs again, trying to still be there for her. So I really liked how it ended, that their friendships kind of getting back on track. Yeah.
What would you rate this season or this episode, Angela? I mean, what would you rate
this episode? I give it like an 8, because it was high tension all the time. It kept me peeled, edge of my seat, because there were so many different emotional scenes. So many like scenes that I just was like not breathing, because I want to know what happened next. I want to make sure the characters are okay. I would give it an 8, because it was overall nicely done, and I'm happy. Me personally, I'm happy with the way it ended. Rounded out.
Definitely. I'm going to give this a solid 9, just because I just love the way the writing was. I love the way the emotions really carried so much in this season and into another level, and it really was good. And that's the thing though, is that like, where do these characters go from here? And I love how it leaves it open-ended, pretty much open-ended. It's just like, is it going to be a season 3? Is there? Because it's not been announced yet. But regardless, we got a beautiful season here. Season 1 will always be the best, of course, and then we got this season, and then
there better be a season 3.
Yeah,
if there is no more, I would be very upset, because
I would be mad, but I wouldn't be very, very mad to where like it can't be end. But it's like, hey, it sends off to a good send off. But I don't think so. But we'll find out in the future. But this show has really touched on a lot of emotions as far as personal me and the feelings and everything. It's really a great show, man. Give it a chance, guys, if you have not seen it. We recommend it, of course. Obviously, when we go in depth, we go really in depth on it. And I love this show. I really do. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for sticking us for this long. Thank you so much for listening to us on any podcast platform, by the way. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, guys. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that Kelly and
this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Once again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and listen to our other podcasts or other episodes that we got coming out. We got the Batman coming out later this week too as well. Be on the lookout for that, because we're talking about everything on Vengeance, the Batman, guys. Stay tuned. Catch you later.